guys, so today I'm going to tell you guys about Diane Downs. Now, if you know the name, you know the story, but if not, I'm going to tell you about it. She has often been compared to Ted Bundy, Susan Smith, Casey Anthony, just a bunch of terrible people, right? So the story's crazy, and it was all over the news whenever it happened, and I wasn't alive then, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you weren't, so I'm going to tell you about it. Before I start, I do just want to say I mean no disrespect to any of the victims that I talk about in the video. I'm just really interested in true crime, and I thought this was an interesting story. So Elizabeth Diane Downs was born on August 7th, 1955 in Phoenix, Arizona, and she was the oldest of 4 children. Her parents were apparently very conservative and strict, and at age 14, she cut her hair and dyed it blonde and started going by her middle name, Diane, and started wearing a lot of provocative clothing, and she started dating the 16-year-old boy across the street named Steven. Her parents obviously didn't approve of their relationship, but she didn't care, and after she graduated from Moon Valley High, Steven joined the Navy, so she moved with him. I don't exactly know where they moved, but she moved with him, and she enrolled in a Baptist college. And they promised to stay faithful to each other, but Diane really couldn't hold up her end of the bargain, because she was expelled for promiscuous behavior, and she returned back to Arizona to live with her mother, but she only to move back again to marry Steven in November of 1973. They allegedly had a lot of arguments about money and infidelity because Diane couldn't keep her hands to herself, which we'll learn more about that later. Despite their rough marriage, though, they had their first child, Christy, in 1974. And 6 months after Christy was born, she joined the Navy also, but she only stayed for 3 weeks because Steven was allegedly neglecting Christy. I don't know, I never got much information on that. Anything that I read or watched never really said anything about it, like what the neglect was. And then in 1975, they had their second child, Cheryl, and 2 kids was enough for Steven. He was 2 and through, so he got a vasectomy. But that didn't stop Diane from getting pregnant again, but she didn't have this child. And in 1978, they both moved to Mesa, Arizona, where they both found jobs at manufacturing companies. And there, Diane began having a bunch of affairs with coworkers and became pregnant again. But she had this baby and named him Danny. And Steven was, I think he, in my opinion, he was a good guy because he accepted Danny as his own, even though Diane was horrible, okay? And Danny was born in December of 1979. And after that, the marriage lasted only 1 more year, and they got divorced in 1980. And in the following years, Diane was pretty much crashing with people and sleeping with men and still trying to get Steven back. I don't really know why. To support herself, she decided that she would become a surrogate mother because she was so good at getting pregnant, but she failed 2 psychiatric exams that were required for her to qualify. And one of the tests showed that she was very intelligent, but also psychotic. And she would brag about that to her friends. In 1981, she was finally accepted into the program and was given $10,000 for carrying a baby to full term. After that, because she was so good at getting pregnant, she tried to open up her own surrogate clinic because she's crazy. And it was during this time that she got a full-time job as a postal carrier, and there she met a man named Robert Knickerbocker, and this man was apparently the man of her dreams. She would do anything for this guy. Literally. So Nick was going through a separation, and Diane was very possessive of him and basically was just like, I really want you all to myself, and I would do anything to be with you, just being all nasty like she is. I don't know, I look at her and I'm just like, girl, I don't get it. And like in the newspapers and like anything that you watch, people are like, oh my god, she was such an attractive woman. I'm like, where? I don't see it. Maybe because I know she's crazy. Nick said, quote, I felt suffocated by her demands and broke it off. Diane was so devastated she moved to Oregon, but she believed that she could win Nick back. And at 27, she wrote letters to him before visiting him again in April of 1983. He completely rejected her and said, look, Diane, I like you, okay? Like, you're cool, kind of, but you have kids, and I'm not interested in having children. So he didn't want kids. Okay, and she was like dead set. She's like, that's why he doesn't want to be with me, because I have kids. I have 3 kids, and I have to take care of them all by myself. So what does she do? Diane stayed in Oregon and got another job at the Postal Service, where she was assigned to a mail routes in the city of Cottage Grove, Oregon, which was just a typical small town. On May 19th, 1983, Diane and her kids were at a friend's house. This is her story, okay? This is how she tells it. So they were at a friend's house, and it got late. It was like 10 o'clock. So they started leaving. And Diane apparently loved to take road trips, okay? Like they took road trips all the time, and they took back roads. She saw a road that she had never been on before, so she decided to take this road at night with her children in the back. Like this is her story, okay? This is what she says that she did. So she's driving down this road late at night, and some random dude just flags her down, and she's like, oh, okay, let me pull over. As a mother, I'm not a mother, but like as if I was a mother, I would be like, you're funny. Like, you think I'm gonna stop for you? I'm not gonna stop for you. What? That's stupid. But she stops, and this man is like, I want your car. And she says, are you kidding me? And so he apparently just sticks his hand, with a gun in his hand, just sticks it in the car and shoots all the kids. Okay? He shoots all the children in the back, and she like fake throws the keys like you fake out a dog if you like throw a ball, you know? She like fake threw the keys and got in the car and rushed to the hospital. That's her story. But she arrived at the hospital with a bloody soaked back seat of her car, with her children like dying in the back seat. She has a little towel wrapped around her arm. And she's like, oh my god, my children have been shot, help me! The doctors and the police that show up quickly decide that, yeah, she's not acting normal. Something's wrong here. So they start interviewing her, and she doesn't really seem concerned about her children's, like, medical condition. She's kind of just like, oh wait, I need to call Nick. Where's a phone? Can I call Nick? Like, I'm saying Nick is like Robert, but like, why would you care about calling Nick? Why wouldn't you like want to call the father of your children and be like, hey, guess what just happened? You should probably get down here. She was just like, nah, I need to call Nick. She told detectives about the bushy-haired man, right? But she also told them that Hungry Like the Wolf by Duran Duran was playing in the car while this all happened. And that's a really weird detail to tell the cops when your children were just shot. Like, why would you care about what song was playing? You know what I mean? Jesus. So, yeah, they were just like, okay, yeah, she's weird. What's going on? And for some reason, she also voiced concern to the doctor that a bullet had hit Danny's spine and not his heart. I don't know why you would even, like, if you didn't want to sound guilty, why would you say anything like that as a mother? Why would you say something like that to a doctor? It's just obvious that she had something to do with it, right? So Cheryl had sadly passed away on arrival, and Danny was paralyzed, and Christy had suffered a stroke and had lost her ability to speak, which is such a crazy part in this whole entire thing. It's really ironic. And Diane also seemed very, very calm whenever they were questioning her. You know, like, I think any normal person would freak out about their children being almost killed. Even more shocking to the doctors was whenever she was told about Christy's condition, she was like, yeah, I want to pull the plug. And the doctor was like, no, I can save her. So he put in an order to make him her guardian while she was being cared for, which I think is amazing that he did that. So police began their investigation, and they quickly found that, yeah, her story was just bullcrap. They never found a gun on land, and they did a dive search, but they never found the gun there. But they did find bullet casings on the ground, and investigators found out that Diane had bought a .22 caliber gun in the past, and that was the casings that were found on the ground from a .22 caliber. Should have mentioned that. But the police asked, you know, Steven and Nick, and they were like, hey, has she ever had a gun? And they were like, yeah, she's bought a gun before. I've seen her with one, but I don't know where it is. And then they asked her, and she was like, what? No, what are you talking about? Gun? What's that? And then this composite sketch came out. This composite sketch, I don't know, I couldn't really find like a great picture of it. Here it is though. In my opinion, it really does look like her. She just described some random ass person, but you can clearly tell that she didn't really like know what she was describing. Like, if this couldn't get any like weirder, this reenactment comes out. Like, I can put that in the description. It's just insane. And there's a moment in that clip where she like hits her cast on the car door, and she's like, "Oh, my cast, that hurt more." And people think she was gonna say, "Oh, that hurt more when I shot myself." But like after like that reenactment was shown on TV, and everybody got to see it, and yeah, that's when she became the prime suspect. After the clip, she begins her plethora of interviews. There's so many interviews, and the more she talks, the more she incriminates herself. I've heard people say that she was like her own worst enemy. It is so true. She talks way too much, and like when she talks, she like makes these slight facial expressions that she probably doesn't even know that she makes. At this time during the investigation, witnesses came forward and were like, "Oh yeah, we were driving behind Diane the night that she was rushing to the hospital." She wasn't rushing. She was going like stupid slow. She was going like 5 miles an hour. There was a doctor that Christy had that was working with her, you know, like mental, physical therapy, stuff like that. I think she was more mental therapy though. And she was working with her to, you know, get her to say what happened that night, and she was eventually able to say her mother did it. After Christy was finally able to say who had done this to her, investigators found a break in the case. They discovered her secret diary that spoke of the man of her dreams that didn't want children, and if only she could get rid of her children, and then he would be with her, like some really messed up Disney origin story. Diane Downs was arrested and charged with 1 count of murder and 2 counts of attempted murder and criminal assault. And when her trial began, she had a surprise for everybody in the courtroom. She was 8 months pregnant. I'm pretty sure that she got pregnant just to garner sympathy from the jurors and like put reasonable doubt into their head, like, "Oh my god, she's a mother, she would never kill her kids. What y'all talking about? Y'all crazy." What? And I think it was like a 2020 episode that explains who got her pregnant and like how she made this, like tricked this guy into getting her pregnant. Prosecutors pretty much argued the obvious. They argued that Diane attempted to kill her children because she wanted Nick back, which was probably what all of us think, right? And what was most likely true. And Nick did testify, and he said that Diane would stalk him. She would like hide behind like bushes, all like creepy, behind his house, or like in front of his house. And she even offered to kill his wife so she could be with him forever. And he was like, "Okay, yeah, but you crazy?" They also played the Duran Duran song in the courtroom, and she was tapping her foot, my dude. Electric chair, like no. And then Christy testified, and she was able to tell everybody what happened to her, and it is truly like so scary. She describes how Diane was driving down this unknown road that they've never been on, and she just stops the car, gets out and goes around to the back, grabs something, comes around and shoots them all, shoots herself, and then drives super slow to the hospital. The trial took 6 weeks. On June 17th, 1984, the jury found her guilty on all charges. She received life in prison plus 50 years. And apparently when the verdict was read, she was just like, "I don't know, what is there to say?" There's a lot she could have said, but she won't, you know, because she has no, I don't think she has any empathy. That's just, you know, that's just my opinion. I don't know. I think it should be obvious to anybody that she has no empathy, and she did not care about what she did. And a month after her trial, she gave birth to her 4th child, and the state of Oregon claimed the child after 10 days. They were like, "Yeah, you're not keeping that kid. You're crazy." By the way, I'm sorry if I laugh a lot, and if that makes anybody uncomfortable. I just do that because I get nervous. but I've been interested in true crime for a while now. All of the cases that I read about are just so, like, I can't even use like words to describe it, guys. Like, they're all crazy. Crime is insane. People are crazy. Diane was not done because she escaped, y'all. July 11th, 1987, she scaled a 16-foot tall fence with barbed wire on top, hauled her ass over it, and then just like booked it. And then she was gone, beach. Like, she just, bye. So police were obviously like, oh my god, what? How did she get out? What's going on? We gotta find her. So they went to her cell and they found like a clipboard with a piece of paper that had like markings on it. So they did the little chalk trick where you put like a piece of paper over it and then you like put chalk on it like that. And they figured out that it was just like a straight up map, just like a easy map with like an X and an address. So they went to that address and they found her 10 days later on July 21st at some random guy's house. I don't know what she was doing there, if she even knew him. And it was only a few blocks away from the prison that she was at, so I guess she didn't like care about really running. She probably just wanted to have sex and then just be like, okay, yeah, sure, I'll go back. And she received 5 more years for the escape. But yeah, that's the story of Diane freaking Downs. One of the worst people out there. Her 4th daughter did grow up and like eventually found out who she was and like wrote to her, and I don't know, Diane was acting really crazy, saying crazy stuff like, I'm in a conspiracy and the government is like saying I'm guilty, I didn't really do this, blah 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 blah. Diane was eligible for parole in 2008 as a dangerous offender under Oregon law. She could have a parole hearing every 2 years, and she hasn't gotten out yet, and she looks like Cruella de Vil. She looks really scary, and I don't think she'll ever get out. I really don't. And that's perfectly fine with me because I feel a lot safer with her in prison. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it was, it's a rough case, you know. People are dying. I know it sucks, but I think it's important to know what dangerous people have been out there, are out there, and could be out there in the future. So, I hope you guys liked the video. Like I said, please like and subscribe, leave a comment letting me know what you think, any comments about the case. If you know anything that I don't, I would love to know more. So let me know also if you have any ideas for cases that you want me to talk about. I will research them and I'll talk about them. So yeah, I will see you guys next time.